Hello everyone. This week we're going to be talking about the mire and the rock. And you guys are like, what the heck is mire? I got y'all. So the Lord recently, I've been praying to him and asking him about ordering my steps. And it kind of goes along with this message, and it kind of also goes along with my testimony as of now, and just a reflection of where I've come from and where I'm going, and just my gratefulness to God. So I just want to jump into this word. I'm really excited to share with you. Thank you again for watching. Come on, let's go. The scripture that we're coming out of this week is Psalms 40 verses 1 through 2, and I just want to read them real quick and kind of break them down. It says, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. So when I think about inclined, I think about God drawing near to us, or getting closer, putting his ear towards us so that he can hear us a little bit better. It says, and after he inclined to us or got closer to us because we cried out, he heard us. Not only did he hear us, verse 2 says, he brought us up also out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings or my steps. Now, this horrible pit and this miry clay are both describing one situation. It's describing a mess. And if you think about a pit, because they're using these descriptors for a reason. A pit is much deeper than a ditch, and it describes it as horrible. We know what horrible is. So it's a deep situation. It's a deep mess that we've gotten ourselves into, that we've cried out to the Lord about. And then it also talks about miry clay. Now, the mire, we've heard of the muck in the mire. The mire is like quicksand. It's swampy or boggy ground. It's also a situation of distress. So we found ourselves in this deep situation where there's quicksand, where we're sinking, literally. And I looked up some things about quicksand, and quicksand is basically water mixed with sand. But the way that it's done is when you step into it, our body, the body weight that we have, it causes us to fall in and displace the sand. Literally, this pit, this mess that we find ourselves in is this deep pit that is literally pulling us in like a vacuum, the harder and harder we try to get out. And following that part is the awesomeness of God. Because as we call out to him, while we're in this pit, it says that he says, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. Literally, there's no foundation to the mess that we get in. We lose stability. We feel like we're falling. We feel like we can't get out. And God takes us out of that, and he puts us on the rock. Now, a rock is a solid material. A rock is also a boulder or a large piece of material that has broken off of a mountain. And it's awesome when you think about it in those terms, because Jesus, who we call the rock of my salvation, is just a boulder or a huge piece that has broken off of the mountain that we call God. So literally, he places us on this foundation of his son, and after he's pulled us out of the mire. So it just brings us hope. These two verses alone bring us so much hope as to what God can do in our messy situations that we get in. You know, I was thinking about last year, I posted something on Facebook about my situation a year ago. And a year ago, about this time, I was moving out. I had decided I was getting a divorce, and you know, it was a really hard time for me. I was in a very dark place. I was heartbroken. I was depressed. My self-esteem was low. My face was all broke out. Like, everything was going horribly. And now, not even a year later, because it'll be a year in July, I am watching God bless me tremendously because I stayed with him. Because I called out to him when I was in the mire, when I was in the horrible pit, and he has literally pulled me out. Like, for real. You know, I got my new car, but I also got a promotion on my job. I, have new people entering my life. God is really blessing me, and I have so much more peace. And I was telling someone the other day, I told them, God's been telling me all things new, all things new. And I thought that meant, God's gonna, redo my whole life, and he's gonna bring all this material stuff into my life, and these things would be new. literally. But I didn't realize that God was going to make me new, that he was going to give me a new personality. He's going to make me more friendly, more approachable, because I know myself. But now, after being broken, I'm able to minister to people and share with people, you know, just what's happened to me, and just be real with people. There's something else that I wanted to point out, because there's another scripture, and it talks about a dog returning to vomit, and a pig or a washed sow, so a clean pig, returning to her wallowing in the mire. And we as Christians have to be careful not to return to or go back to those things that the Lord has pulled us up out of. And I say that because a lot of times when God pulls us out, you know, we complain, and we tell God, you know, Lord, pull me out of this situation. I need you to order my steps. I need you to get me on the right path. And when he gets us on the right path, we got so comfortable where we were at that we want to go back. And again, just like the dog returning to her vomit, we're returning to the same thing that made us sick the first time. As the people of God, we must be mindful that any situation we get ourselves in or we get placed into, if we cry out to God, God is able to bring us out of that thing and to establish our goings, to put us on a rock, to give us a steady foundation, a steady life. But we have to be built on Christ. And that just makes God and Christ much more important and essential to our life. So please be reminded of this. Please remember to pray if you have any questions. If you have any prayers, shoot me something in my inbox. This is what I'm here for. I love you guys. Hope you have a great week. See you later.